Hello, welcome once more to this channel. In case you're new here, it's your boy Max Peter Dangala, and I would sincerely like to apologize for the fact that I haven't been posting lately. But this was due to the fact that I was caught up in an exam. But let's just kick off from where we stopped. With me here today, I would like us to talk about some of the principal causes of sexual violence and the effects on the victim. So one of the principal causes of sexual violence, as you know it, is indecent dressing. Most likely this occurs with girls. When you dress so revealing that you portray most of your body parts, what do you expect? Perpetrators like to see things like this. And when they notice you looking all revealing and try to get to talk to you, try to date you, and then they can't succeed, what happens? They tend to forcefully have it the other way around, which I would say rape. So indecent dressing is one of the most principal causes of sexual harassment. So girls, be very careful with the way you dress. The second principal cause of sexual violence is lack of awareness about sex education. Most likely in Africa, this is not really part of the school curriculum. So most children tend up to grow without having basic knowledge on sexual harassment, not knowing it's wrong to sexually harass someone either physically or verbally. So it would be good that this should be part of the school curriculum. Teachers should try and instill this ethical behavior into children. Let them know that to sexually harass someone is wrong, because when they grow up like this, they won't even know that to sexually harass someone is wrong, and probably in future some of them might carry out this act, and well, it's based on their upbringing. Another principal cause of sexual harassment is the misuse of power and authority. Today, most people misuse authority invested on them. We clearly notice this in cases like in a university, where you find a smart student who actually will refuse to give herself up to a lecturer, and you find the lecturer scoring such a student with low grades. And the worst is those lazy students who actually are empty-headed will actually offer themselves up to these lecturers, and then you find them excelling, you find them moving to the next level. So another pertinent reason is the big gap between parents and children. Parents are said to be the first teachers, and so parents, you have the obligation to teach your children that there are sensitive parts of their body that does not have to be touched. For example, their breast, their pubic area. Parents have these obligations. You have the obligation to teach your children. And so when this happens, the child will grow up having this notion that my body parts does not have to be tampered with, and I in turn don't have to touch the body part of others, especially the sensitive part. So parents, please, you have the obligation to inculcate this with children. When you do this, children will not be victims and will not be perpetrators. There are so many factors, but I would like to summarize this up with the last one, which is the leniency of implementing sanctions in case of impeachment. Some countries, most especially in Africa, don't really have laws that punish perpetrators. So perpetrators might feel like I could just sexually harass someone and get away with it. So please, countries should implement strong laws that will punish anyone who sexually violates or harass another. In this case, the rate of sexual harassment in the world will reduce. Okay, so we're quite done with some of the causes of sexual violence. Now let's hop into the consequences of sexual violence on the victim. First, I would like to look at some of the physical consequences, which will include physical injuries. Now you notice in the process of trying to rape, which is a physical assault, The victim might sustain injuries because she's being brutalized, and that forceful act cause strain, cause injuries. Yeah, hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Second consequence is it might lead to sexually transmitted disease. Oh shit, I think everyone is scared of this. Have you heard of this one? HIV and AIDS. Man, I'm damn scared of this disease. So during the process of, let's say, rape, one doesn't know the perpetrator might be infected, and so in the process of rape you might or you will get infected, because AIDS is a sexually transmissible disease. So you have all 100% chance of acquiring such a disease, which is really bad. That is a devastating consequence. And you also realize that it will lead to unwanted pregnancy, most especially if the perpetrator goes in raw, you know what I mean, without protection, as it always likely happens. Of course you don't want this pregnancy, so that's why you find many at times commit abortion. And as you know, any unwanted pregnancy will likely lead to abortion, and in some cases some succeed with the abortion, but it also has some consequences, like you might remain barren forever due to abortion. Some, in the case of abortion, die. That's why to sexually harass someone is very wrong. Now moving to the consequences it will have on the victim's social well-being. That's the victim's psychology. Sexual harassment will also lead to a pervasive sense of fear and insecurity. That's why you find some victims be like, did you just notice my actions? Yeah, you find them sitting absent-minded, and all of a sudden they just shake, and you're like, what's happening? It's due to some of these acts. When you're a victim, you're most likely prone to feel insecure, which, why would you even want somebody to go through this? The consequence is self-inflicted isolation. You tend to find most of the victims isolating themselves. They don't want to be around people, they just want to be alone. And of course, you know the disadvantages of being isolated. It might lead to overthinking, you overstress yourself, and in some cases, some might want to commit suicide. So I would like us to also talk about some of the negative effects of sexual harassment on education. It will lead to low concentration in class, and you tend to find some students having low achievement levels because of thinking of what happened, and of course the child's concentration or the victim's concentration is bound to decrease. You're not just yourself, you start performing poorly in class. Another consequence is it might lead to school dropout. When such a thing happens, when you're sexually harassed, people tend to know about your story, everyone tends to know, and if you're a student, it's not quite easy to handle such a situation because you get laughed upon. Some students in school might give you nicknames, some make jokes. It's not really easy to cope with such when you're hurt first of all, and others, maybe people surrounding you, inflict pain to you. So it's quite difficult, and so not everyone can handle this, and most likely at times the victim's friend might tend to run away from him or her, which might cause the victim to think the best option is to run away from school. Though it's not a good option, I don't advise anyone or any victim to become a school dropout, but I know it's not easy. My own advice is you just have to cope with it, but not quite easy though. Those are some of the consequences that I prepared for you, and we'll finally come to the end of this video. Feel free to share your comments with me in the comment section below, and don't forget to give this video a like, smash that like button, and please don't forget to subscribe. This means a lot to me, this means everything to me. If you want me to keep making videos like this, then just give it a subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.